John Timu starts the game. South Africa win the kick. This is Van der Westhuizen. Kriese, outside him is O'Quinnigan. O'Quinnigan, fresh pair of legs, hasn't played many matches this tournament. And Frank Bunce, though, is bundled into touch.
This will be an interesting confrontation because the South Africans support very close and the New Zealanders like to use that floating defence amongst the opposition. It's going to be very interesting tactically.
Kruger with the throw-in. Loose ball won by New Zealand. South Africa pile through. And New Zealand penalised. Van der Westhuizen. This is the big man, Dieter Kriese. This is Van der Westhuizen diving in at the corner. Try given eventually.
Yes, the initial doubt there was in the tackle, whether the player had been tackled into touch. But Jim Fleming, the Scottish international referee, who's actually the touch judge, nodded to Patrick Robin and said a perfectly good try.
It was made by big Dieter Kriese, pops it up to Van der Westhuizen, determination to dive in at the corner. Kick unsuccessful for Eric Schubert. So South Africa leading by 5 points to 0.
And I'm sure South Africa won't be lying down to leave New Zealand win. You can see the determination on the wingers' face. They're going over for the try.
(5-0) to South Africa already. Timu restarts for them. This is Van der Westhuizen who scored the first try. Timu has to chase back and side-foot it into touch. Big Todd Blackadder at the front, one at the back by Kriese for South Africa. Schubert, pass behind Badenhorst. This is Jack Olivier. Aggressive defence from the All Blacks. Referee waves play on. Olivier, Kriese, Kruger's outside him. Kruger takes on Blackadder and goes in at the corner for the second try for South Africa.
A little bit of luck involved in that, Alistair, in midfield there. It looked as if there may have been a slight knock-on, but the referee was quite happy with it, and he's a lot nearer than I am. Ball is then moved back, and there's the overlap there. It's a 3-to-1 situation, and that's all it needs in sevens is good timing, draw the man, and put the speed merchant in. And as well as Blackadder can run, I'm afraid he's not going to keep up in that situation. A good try for South Africa.
Schubert with the kick. Successful. What a good kick from Andre Schubert.
Well, can New Zealand raise their game now? That's the question.
Timu. O'Quinnigan. Good technique at the kickoffs for South Africa, making sure they won the ball by tapping it onto another player. But this is Glenn Osborne for New Zealand. Mazy runner. Finds Forster inside him. Schubert tries to tackle. Bunce goes outside Badenhorst. Badenhorst throws him to the ground. And South Africa dig the ball out. Van der Westhuizen. Kruger. In trouble from the tackle from Paramore. New Zealand pick it up through Blackadder. And win it again. Paramore. Van der Westhuizen with the interception, but the knock-on.
New Zealand starting to put the pressure on now and tightening the screw on the South Africans.
Forster, the scrum half. Good footwork from Schubert. Bunce goes in for New Zealand to try and win the ball. 2.5 minutes left of this first half. South Africa leading by 12 points to 0.
The South Africans in no hurry to get the ball into this scrimmage. Referee Patrick Robin keeping the scrum up.
Schubert. This is Olifia, the full international cap, the winger, and on tour to France earlier this year. Kruger. Creaser tries to pick up. Won again by South Africa. O'Quinnigan. Van der Westhuizen in real trouble. O'Quinnigan picks it up again from in front of the player. So it'll be a scrum down to New Zealand.
And there was a classic example of this New Zealand floating defence, as we've observed earlier. They are very quickly up amongst the opposition, which stops the passing amongst the South Africans.
Forster going round the blind side is Osborne. Well policed by Kruger. And Forster again. Olifia with the tackle on Bunce. In goes Paramore to win it for New Zealand. Back it comes again. This is Dallas Seymour. And Forster. Pressured by Joubert. But this is Timu. John Timu, real pace. Blackadder floats it back inside. Osborne. Paramore again. Paramore's handoff. A fierce handoff. And another one. And the third one. And Junior Paramore forces his way over for the try.
Well, that's the second superb handoff that we've seen this morning, both coming from New Zealanders. We saw Osborne previously do it, and on this occasion it's Junior Paramore. Ball moved out wide, and the South Africans are adopting a man-to-man marking, and there's the problem with it. If you don't go low, the big lad's going to hand you off when he does it again. This occasion, it's can you score without the shirt? Well, yes, you can, but it's best if you keep it on.
John Timu's conversion and the half-time whistle from Monsieur Robin. South Africa 12, New Zealand 7.
Well, as you said earlier, Alistair, this is an important game for New Zealand. They need to win this to stand a chance of getting through to the semi-finals. But South Africa are determined not to go home without any victories in the closing stages. So they are not going to lie down and make it very easy for the New Zealanders just to walk through.
South African player being helped off the field. That's Kruger. And ready to take his place is Dick Muir. So Dick Muir comes on. There he is. He thought he was having a rest this game. And he immediately gets into the action as New Zealand recover through Forster and Blackadder. And Seymour under pressure from Olifia, and Monsieur Robin brings them back with a kick not 10 metres.
Yes, the referees have been very good at trying to play the advantage, encouraging the players to play on even though there has been an infringement. But on that occasion, I'm afraid New Zealand weren't quick enough to actually take advantage.
Stu Forster, the scrum half for New Zealand. Glenn Osborne. Glenn Osborne now against Badenhorst. Doesn't think there's anything on, so the long floated pass inside finds Stu Forster. This is Junior Paramore, the man with the handoff. John Timu, Forster. And Dallas Seymour, policed by Muir. But Schubert is beaten by Glenn Osborne. Glenn Osborne, though, is looking for support. And so O'Quinnigan goes back to tackle and gets up and picks the ball up as well, the big South African. Support from Van der Westhuizen. Van der Westhuizen tries to step inside Seymour. Good pass to find Schubert. The long floated ball infield to Badenhorst. Badenhorst, Muir can't hold the ball, and Timu suddenly has a chance of scoring for New Zealand. Goes inside one tackle. Olifia comes back. Muir intercepts for South Africa. O'Quinnigan rampages down the narrow side again. Good tackle from Forster. Blackadder's in there. It's marvellous stuff. New Zealand penalised there, and South Africa keep hold of possession. They're leading by 12 points to 7. Muir in trouble there. Flick on though to Creaser. This is Badenhorst. Badenhorst steps inside the tackle of Forster and races over for South Africa's third try.
Excellent handling there by the South Africans, moving the ball quickly out to Badenhorst. It's always very difficult when you're a defending player and standing stationary. When a man comes running at you, he's got the choice of going either left or right, and on that occasion he cuts back in. No hope for the defender whatsoever.
Schubert with a conversion, so South Africa extending their lead. South Africa 19, New Zealand 7.
Well, New Zealand have got it all to do now. Just a few minutes to ensure that they get through to the semi-final.
Yes, in the last 4 minutes they must score 2 converted tries. They won't if South Africa can hang on to the ball. This is Creaser, and this is Van der Westhuizen streaking away again. Bunce won't catch him. Try for South Africa.
Well, it was a very good kick-off by New Zealand, but South Africa attacked the ball. And once Van der Westhuizen had the ball in his hand, he's proved throughout this tournament to be one of the speed merchants, and it was a joy just to see him run with it.
Schubert's kick is successful. South Africa 26, New Zealand 7. Three minutes left of this match. New Zealand surely can't catch South Africa now. South African supporters in the crowd. Creaser again from the kickoff. Muir. This is Van der Westhuizen. Again, great runner, isn't he? Long pass is meant for Olivier. He gets it at the second attempt, and he sets off back across the field. Got Muir inside him. The flick pass to Creaser. Creaser now. Creaser with Seymour chasing him. Throws the ball inside to Olivier.
Well, 3 of the so-called experts last night turned around and said that South Africa could well be the champions, and this was the reason why. We've been very, very impressed with the way that they've moved the ball, kept it alive on all occasions, they've supported well, they've run around, and even when a man's got the ball, look, and a chance for a try, there is still somebody inside saying, hey, just in case you get caught, I'm here. Sure enough, there's the pop back in, and another superb try for South Africa.
Schubert with the conversion attempt, not successful this time, so South Africa leading by 31 points to 7. New Zealand restart through Timu. Creaser taps back to Muir. Blackadder goes in for New Zealand to try and steal the ball. South Africans penalised. 1 minute left of this tie. South Africa leading by 31 points to 7. And we need more tries and more points. New Zealand scored 42 against Australia. And Glenn Osborne shows the ball. Tries to take on Badenhorst. Looks for support inside. Timu, Forster. New Zealand have men over if they can use them. Blackadder. Paramore. Brought tackle from behind by Muir. Seymour goes in for New Zealand. Forster digs it out. Osborne. Timu. Timu has support from Bunce. And Bunce aims to get as close to the post as he can. New Zealand's second try for Frank Bunce.
And that try came about through some excellent advantage by the French referee, Patrick Robert. Back at the maul situation, there was a man killing it from South Africa. He allowed the New Zealanders to move the ball wide. And despite tired legs, the winners today are going to have to play 5 matches. Bunce goes over. And tries could well be crucial, Alistair. So New Zealand need to get more tries on the board.
So Frank Bunce, who played in the World Cup for Western Samoa before switching allegiance to New Zealand, scores their second try of this match. John Timu with the kick. And the kick successful, and that'll be the final score. The whistle blows, South Africa 31, New Zealand 14.